Okay, BookTube, I have a fun trivia game for you here today using the wonderful video series from Mental Floss. And they have these trivia games, and this one is the literary one. And I think I'm covered by fair use. I mean, I've seen people outright rob so many videos with their little head in the corner, barely making a comment while they just watch the whole video. I'm going to answer all the questions as we go, and I'm going to stop about halfway, which I think should be about 15 minutes, which I think is covered by fair use. And we'll see if that gets any complaints. If not, and if people like it, I'll do the second 15 minutes in a follow up video. I haven't watched this before, so all of the questions are going to be completely new to me. And here we go. The first one series is called Whose Line Is It Anyway? And it's asking, these are famous last lines of books. And here's the first one.
The final sentences of some of the most famous novels of all time. Can you identify them? Ooh, sounds easy enough, right? All you got to do is pick apart the very subtle context clues.
When you're on camera, you're so nervous.
Short sentences. Let's see how well you do. The first line. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
I'm going to guess that the
book? Don't worry.
boat part is a,
I'm a nice
I think
guy.
this is Holden, what do you call it?
The Great Gatsby.
Oh, they give me choices. Oh, great.
C, the Old Man and
Great
the
Gatsby. I was about to say, I guess the boat part is not.
Feel free to type the whole title if you're feeling really ambitious.
Is a fake out.
That
I was about to guess Catcher in the Rye, so glad they gave me choices. Great Gatsby.
Type your answer in the chat, and you can earn yourself your first point of the night.
Definitely not Pride and Prejudice.
What happens if you get the most points? Yes, you're the winner,
And
but you
Old
get a
Man of the
prize.
Sea. I can't remember the final line to that one, but
smile from me. Oh,
definitely not a Hemingway sentence.
The answer to question number 1 is The Great Gatsby.
Woo!
That's right.
One for one.
The Great Gatsby ends. Spoiler alert. Alternate names, by the way, that F. Scott Fitzgerald considered for J. Gatsby.
Much easier with the choices given. As I said, I would have guessed Catcher in the Rye.
The name of the Great Gatsby was Trimalchio in West Egg. Bonus question: what fictional work was Trimalchio a reference to? I want to give a bonus point to anybody if they can get this.
Trimalchio. Is it Summers?
After the next question.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, my girls.
No, it's probably one of the Italian ones, right?
Never
Gentleman who wrote it.
Greater happiness than this. That is the final line of which book?
Oh, that's got to be Little Women,
Little
right?
Women or Beloved? Type your answer in the
Not Beloved. What is the final line of Jane Eyre? You'd think I would know that. Yeah, this is Little Women for sure.
Follow your gut.
B.
The answer to question number 2 is, of course, Little Women. Great book. Great
So it looks like this is going to be heavily slanted to American
fun fact, after Little Women
literature, or at least English
fans
literature.
of the book started showing up at Louisa May Alcott's house, and she pretended to be a servant when answering the door to get them to leave. Apparently, she did not want all of the fame and glory. I get it. By the way, the answer to that bonus question regarding Trimalchio's origins is Satyricon. If anyone got that right,
Satyricon wasn't Shakespeare.
A bonus point, and
Satyricon's amazing.
Because I'm very impressed. Question number 3. I just waited a bit, then turned back to the car to drive off to wherever it was I was supposed to. ... That is the final line of which novel? Here are your choices. Road? The Catcher in the Rye, Never Let Me Go, or Fahrenheit 451.
It's probably Catcher in the Rye. Yeah, that sounds like Catcher in the Rye.
Involves somebody waiting.
Fahrenheit 451. Of course, he was a pilot.
To wherever it was.
So if it was a plane.
Type your answer to the chat. Did you guess? The answer was. It was Never Let Me Go.
Oh.
Yes, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro.
I haven't read it.
By the way, Ishiguro called this book his cheerful novel because the characters were mostly decent. Mostly decent. Honestly, I think that's what we should all strive for.
Including the female
Question
characters.
Number 4. She looked up across the barn, and her lips came together and smiled mysteriously. Ooh, this one's titillating. This one makes me want to read the book, but but I just finished reading it.
Grapes
It's
of
the final
Wrath.
line.
What else would be
Your
in a
choices are
barn?
The Grapes of Wrath, Lolita, or Animal Farm. Which one is it? See, with all of these, there's little
Of course,
context
Animal
clues.
Farm is the
Might help
fake
you pull it
out.
apart. But then
And
again, maybe I chose
don't
some
remember
of the
Lolita.
other multiple choice
Lips,
answers
sure, but
as red herrings,
barn? No, I'm
knowing
thinking
you
it's
might
Grapes
try
of
to pick
Wrath.
apart it contextually. I'm a
The
madman.
famous,
The answer is
infamous feeding
it's
scene.
The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. That's
This is
right.
all American lit.
Did you know that Eleanor Roosevelt
Oh no, you should
was
go
a big
all
fan
English.
of The Grapes of Wrath? Yeah, she called it an unforgettable experience in her column My Day back in 1939. There you go. That's somebody you'd like to have you enjoy your book. Just little Eleanor Roosevelt. Question number 5. Oh God, please bring him back. I shall keep asking you. Ooh. A dramatic ending. Here are your choices: Great Expectations, Dracula, or A Prayer for Owen Meany. Type your answer into the chat, and then we will move on to our final question of round number 1.
Prayer for Owen Meany.
We're flying by. I miss you guys already.
I think the shawl is supposed to make you think
The
it's
answer
Great Expectations.
we're looking for is, of course, A Prayer for Owen Meany, a John Irving classic.
What is the last line of Dracula?
Did you know that John Irving can't write a story that knows exactly what's going to happen at the end of the novel? According to Irving, and this is a quote, if I haven't already written the ending, I can't write the first sentence.
I saw the movie from
Hey,
Garp when I was
I like to have a strict itinerary when I go on vacation.
reaching puberty. It scarred me forever.
Question number 6.
I have a video for
That's our final question of the Whose Line Is It
the
Anyway
Bears,
round.
setting free the
Make
Bears.
sure to get all the points
If
you
you
can.
like.
Question number 6. But I don't think us feel old at all, and us so happy. Matter of fact, I think the youngest us ever felt. Ooh,
Oh, is it the one
this?
where he regresses
The
to
Adventures
his
of Huckleberry
mental
Finn,
state? Oh, no.
Ulysses, or The Color Purple? Type
Color
your answer
Purple.
in.
It's definitely not
Count up all your points.
Ulysses.
Write them down, and we will be done with round number 1. Easy. See?
I think it's supposed to be vernacular.
Especially when you're doing it.
Black vernacular, right? It's not Ulysses, is it?
The answer we were looking for is C, The Color Purple by Alice Walker. Did you know, this was actually very, I didn't know this one at all. Alice Walker based The Color Purple on the real-life love triangle between her own grandmother, grandfather, and her grandfather's mistress. Yeah.
Come on, Top Trivia. Give us some global literature.
Number 1.
There's
6
more than America in the
lines.
world.
How did everybody do? If you're the kind of person who loves to start books but can never quite finish them,
At least these are classics.
That might not have been your ideal round. But hey, I'm sure you're going to kill it in all of the other rounds. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to some familiar faces in the chat.
Classic
Crystal
adjacent.
Williamson has definitely played with us. Sarah Kurosawa, a legend here.
I remember seeing The Color Purple in the movies. With,
some other faces
Whoopi
hanging around. I'm seeing a lot of names.
Oprah.
It's making me real happy to see y'all back. It's been a while, and we missed you. Let's move on.
Very good.
To round number 2. How does that sound?
I think they did a movie of Prayer for Owen Meany too.
Part-time author.
Definitely did Grapes of Wrath. Great movie.
Every writer we're discussing tonight, and every writer who appears in this lovely book, The Curious Reader, available now, were not always famous authors. In fact, a lot of them worked a day job for a majority of their lives. This round is all about those other
Do I know there's authors'
writer,
jobs?
The human.
I know people's works more than their biographies.
Let's get started.
I'm not.
Question number 1. This MacArthur Fellow and sci-fi author once worked as a potato chip inspector.
No. I don't know people's
Honestly, it
life
sounds
stories.
like a dream job. Here are your choices.
Even authors that I love.
Colson Whitehead or Octavia E. Butler.
Octavia E. Butler.
Which one of those authors once worked as a potato chip inspector?
It's just, again, I gotta just
Honestly,
guess.
That sounds great. It sounds
Although
greasy.
Cormac McCarthy didn't write sci-fi.
But, you know,
that's interesting. They're a MacArthur Fellow.
Clue in this is probably MacArthur Fellow and sci-fi author, not necessarily the potato chip inspector. The answer we're looking for is Octavia E. Butler. That's right, a potato chip inspector, which I think is amazing. By the way, just actually finished reading one of her novels, Kindred, a couple months ago. Pretty Amazing stuff. I highly
My
recommend
sister
it if you
worked in a
haven't read
factory
any for
putting the
work.
exact same
Other
Cheetos
fun jobs that
in
Butler
Cheetos
worked
bags
was as a
and
telemarketer
generic
and as a
supermarket
dishwasher.
brand
She
bags.
specifically took jobs that required very
Interesting.
little imagination so she could funnel her
I
creativity
don't know if it was
into her
Cheetos
writing,
specifically
she
before
says.
anyone
She'd
sues
wake
me,
up early
but
before
it was a
work
name
to
brand.
fit that writing in. Amazing. There you go. It's easy to become a famous writer. Just write a whole novel before work. Question number 2. Khaled Hosseini wrote his debut novel, The Kite Runner, in the mornings before he went to work. Where? The
Okay, I
hospital,
read The Kite
the
Runner.
newspaper,
Can I
or the
guess
bed.
anything from his book about where he worked?
Where did the
Would he have
author
been
of
a
The Kite
worker in a
Runner
hospital?
write before he went to work at a job? Any of these jobs would require
Bank is boring.
serious
It's
amounts
probably
of
bank to throw me off.
attention and focus.
I'm going to go hospital. Although, of course,
Enter answer in the
many
chat, A,
authors
B, or
are
C. That's what we're looking
journalists,
for.
but
And the answer is a hospital.
yeah.
Can you imagine that?
There's
He
something
was an
about his
internist at the
writing
hospital,
that
and he would wake up early to write. I am
makes
so
me
impressed by
think
people who
that,
can do any activity before
yeah,
going to work.
hospital hours don't
Like, I
allow
have a
you a lot of
friend
time.
who wakes up
Of
early
course,
and
I
goes on
don't
a
know.
run every day before work.
F
Who are you?
again.
What
But
are you trying to prove? Waking up
the
early to write a
hospital, I
chapter in
did
the
a
next
brief
great novel before
chaplaincy
work?
training in a
How does your
hospital.
brain work like that?
You see
I roll
the
out of
full
bed 2 minutes
spectrum
before
of
work
family life
every
and the
day,
cycle of life. You see a
and
lot
I
in
like it.
hospitals. It's
Question
a good
number
training
3.
for writing.
George R.R. Martin wrote for what wild TV series starring Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton?
Oh my
George
gosh, I
R.R.
know
Martin,
who Ron Perlman
he wrote a
is.
little book series known as Game of Thrones.
Don't know Linda Hamilton.
Here are your choices. Take 5, The Highwayman, or Beauty and the Beast.
Was Ron Perlman
George
in The
R.R.
Highwayman?
Martin wrote
I remember
for
Beauty and the Beast, at
what
least the
wild
80s
TV
version. It
series?
was really cool. Was Ron Perlman the actor for that? I'm going to go
The
with Beauty
answer
and the Beast.
is Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, that was a really good
That's
series.
right.
If
It was
you talk
actually
about the
while
80s
working on
one.
TV that Martin began writing what would become a song.
I believe Ron Perlman was in Kronos,
that mildly
one of the
popular
great
book and
vampire
television
movies.
series.
But
Fans of this show will know that I do, in fact, have a Game of Thrones tattoo, and the first person to properly tell me what that tattoo is of gets a bonus point. Because
sorry, I got distracted by the Tub Trivia's tattoo dialogue there. I wonder what his tattoo is.
Question number 4. Which author worked as a tax collector and in 1597 ended up in jail due to irregularities?
Oh, what's his name who taxed the poor Irish?
Your choices are Jonathan Swift,
Yeah,
Miguel de Cervantes, or Johann Wolfgang von Goethe.
I didn't know about the irregularities bit, but I knew that there was a Brit author who was involved in oppressing the poor old Irish.
Is, of course, it's Miguel de Cervantes.
Oops, not even close.
About the author of Don Quixote. It was actually during his time in prison that de Cervantes came up with the idea for Don Quixote. And by the way,
I didn't know he was in prison. Yeah, I knew that. And you see that in Man of La Mancha, the musical adaptation.
Just me. Question number 5.
Who was that Brit author who went to Ireland?
In Native Arts in Minneapolis, Minnesota, is owned by which?
Someone was a postmaster too.
Louise Erdrich, Judy Blume,
Minnesota. I think Erdrich's Canadian.
Of those famous writers
owns
a bookstore.
Patchett, did she write the one that's in New England?
They write books.
So I'm going to guess Judy Blume then.
I'm assuming they know how to read books. Who are we talking about? The answer is Louise Erdrich.
Oh, I thought she was Canadian.
But fun fact, this was maybe a bit of a trick question because Judy Blume co-founded Books and Books at the studios of Key West, and Ann Patchett owns Parnassus Books in Nashville. Everybody owns a bookstore.
No, Ann Patchett.
We're talking about
Southern.
Specifically.
So who wrote that? What
owned by Louise
story am I thinking of? Shipping News.
There you go.
Oh,
and by the way,
why did I confuse that?
I'm not surprised because they are incredible at trivia. Sarah Kurosawa gets a bonus point for knowing that my tattoo.
Now, who are the various native peoples of Minnesota? Ojibwe.
You get a point too. You got it right as well. Congratulations to you both.
Erdrich herself.
Question number 6.
No, I don't want to
Most of the works of this famous author who worked at an insurance agency were published posthumously.
Wallace worked in insurance.
Franz
the poet
Kafka,
Wallace.
or Albert Camus.
So
Which
Kafka
one of
probably.
these authors?
Camus was famous in his lifetime, so was Poe.
There's a couple clues in this one.
Yeah, so Kafka, yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, obviously,
That
they
makes
work as an
sense.
insurance agent.
First, that he
But
wasn't
most of their
famous in
work
his
is published
lifetime,
posthumously.
and secondly,
That's a
that
big
he
clue as
worked
well.
in some horrible bureaucracy.
The answer we're looking for is it's your boy Franz Kafka.
All right, I'm at
Yes.
the 15-minute
Also,
mark.
did you
So
know
at the
that
end
he
of
left
this
his three
series,
big novels,
we'll
The
pause.
Trial, The Castle, and
And
America,
I think
unfinished when he
I've
died
talked
in
enough
1924.
to make this video my own.
He asked
Mental floss,
Axl
don't come
Rose,
for me.
his
I'm
friend and
sorry.
literary executor,
I'm
to
only
destroy
using you
them.
because I love you.
He disobeyed. Did not destroy them. That's right. That's kind of a terrifying. I mean, obviously it was like the people need to see your work.
So this kid in the tub, he looks like he's got a
something
tattoo
after my
of a
death and
heart
didn't
for
do
his
it.
mom.
Like, please
Probably
destroy
a skull.
my internet
The
browsing
most
history.
common tattoo, at least in Argentina where I got mine, is
the question number 7.
the
Before he was
tongue
an author,
of Rolling
Dan
Stones.
Brown worked as a songwriter.
No way.
Is that true or false?
False.
Renowned author, best-selling author Dan Brown. Did he work as a songwriter at one point?
Screenwriter, I could see.
Sounds ludicrous.
His style is.
I guess
I like
writing.
his works, the pictures, but his style is
True
hardly
or false?
lyrical.
This is the final question of the part-time
I
author.
wonder if he's a country
category.
music writer.
Let's see if you can get it
Those
right. True or
songs are
false?
pretty narrative.
It's true.
I bet he was
Dan
country.
Brown used to be a pop singer and a songwriter.
Oh, pop.
And one of his songs was called 976 Love.
I guess
And
pop isn't very lyrical anymore anyway, right?
And then a couple years later, he wrote Angels and Demons.
AI slop could
Who'd
write
guess?
pop.
That is it for round number 2.
All right, so that's the end of that
How's
series.
everybody doing?
So we're going to stop
Just
here.
remember, if you're
and
unhappy with your job,
let me add some content right at the end of the video that's in my own voice with no mental floss. So, oh, there is the rubber ducky. I was going to say, rubber ducky. No, better not sing a song on top of everything else. Okay, so there we go. We had some stuff about books that actually included words from the books. Yay! Which I encourage all of you in BookTube land to please put actual words from the books you're talking about in your videos. And then the second bit was kind of, more celebrity author stuff. So I'm not about the celebrity culture, but it was still fun. I think I did okay. I missed some for sure. And a couple of my guesses were pretty wild, but I think there weren't that too many things that I hadn't actually read. The Ishiguro, right? So that made it a bit easier to be able to guess. How did you do? If you played along at home, put me in the comments whether you want to watch me do part 2.